Good day, subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am Jeremy. This is the Financial Education Channel, and today we're talking Bitcoin for beginners, cryptocurrencies for beginners, guys. This is something I've paid attention to for quite a while, but I've never really understood cryptocurrencies, never really understood Bitcoin. So about last week, I was like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm gonna research for like a week about Bitcoin, about cryptocurrencies, and really understand these, and at least to the point where I understand the basics. So I'm gonna share with you guys all the basics today, kind of like the 11 most basic things you gotta know about Bitcoin, know about these cryptocurrencies, so you can at least understand it. And what's actually pushed me is so many of you guys in the comment section have been asking about Bitcoin, asking about cryptocurrencies, like what are they, those kinds of things. And I'm like, I'm doing my 50,000 subscribers a disservice if I don't look into it and do a video about this. So that pushed me, and here we go, guys. I hope you enjoy this. Leave a thumbs up if you do. Let's get into it. Number one, you got to understand what a cryptocurrency is first off. A cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual currency that can be exchanged between people or businesses that accept them. Bitcoin and what's called Ether is the other biggest cryptocurrency out there, Bitcoin being kind of the main one. Now, anybody that has Bitcoin you can basically set up a Bitcoin account if you want. It's not like you need to be a special person from a special, country or something to set this up. Anybody that's willing to accept Bitcoin, you can pay them in Bitcoin, or you can buy, or they can pay you in Bitcoin if you accept it. Same thing with the businesses, and more businesses are now accepting Bitcoin and some of the other cryptocurrencies, but specifically Bitcoin. So it's becoming a more and more popular thing now, guys. So that's basically how it works. It's just a digital virtual currency that you can trade back and forth between people for whatever you're trading back and forth for. Number two, money goes into your Bitcoin virtual wallet. So especially if you have Bitcoin, it goes into what's called a virtual wallet. This is think of a physical wallet, right? You have a physical wallet, you have credit cards in there, you have cash in there probably. Well, this goes into a digital form of a wallet, and basically that's where it's kept. That's where the Bitcoins are kept, and however much money you have in there is however much money you have, which is, I don't even know if you could really call Bitcoin money, for instance, but it's a currency at the end of the day. Number three, there's no one in particular who controls the currency. No one in particular controls this currency. Governments cannot manipulate it in the way they can the current currencies, right? All countries out there pretty much at least slightly manipulate their currency. Some are worse than others. Some do massive manipulations of their currency. They'll buy a bunch of other currencies to devalue their currency or increase value if that's the way they want to go, depending on what they want to do there. Bitcoin, you can't do that. You can't really manipulate Bitcoin. A government can't manipulate it the same way they might want to manipulate the US dollar, or China might want to manipulate the yuan. So things like that, guys. So it's very interesting, and I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing. That's something we might have to get into on another video sometime. But government can't really control this the way they can other currencies currently. Number four, cryptocurrencies make it easier to transfer funds between two parties in a transaction. These transfers are facilitated through the use of public and private keys for security purposes. So basically, you want to transfer money to me, you have to do it through a private key first. Once that goes through, then it goes to the public key, which then can go out to the ledger, so it's kept track of, Jeremy paid out Jonathan 1 Bitcoin or half a Bitcoin or whatever it is, guys. And but it has to go through the private key first, so that I actually did that, right? And it's like agreement between him and I, and then it goes to the public key, so then everybody can see the transaction out there, guys. So it has to go through two different ways. Number five, fund transfers are done with minimal processing fees, allowing to avoid the steep fees charged by most banks, financial institutions for wire transfers. So Bitcoin could potentially, and cryptocurrencies in general, could potentially hurt the banks a bit. Now, there's other ways banks will, if these keep going and they keep getting more and more popular, cryptocurrencies, the banks will still find ways to make money off this. However, things like wire transfer are a very expensive thing to do through most banks, guys. But Bitcoin, you could pay somebody out if you got a family member in another country, you give them a Bitcoin and costs you literally nothing, guys. So whole different ball game there as far as, you know, between doing a wire transfer of money to someone versus giving Bitcoin to someone, guys. Number six, the blockchain Bitcoin uses to store is an online ledger for all transactions that have been conducted using Bitcoin. So this thing called the blockchain. And on this, it's basically a ledger of all the transactions that go through, and tons of different parties, you know, all keep track of this, you know, all the transactions in the ledger and whatnot, and they can compare them, and then we make sure everything is accurate on that ledger. But it's not like there's one company, it's not like there's one person that keeps track of the ledger. There's a ton of people out there that are keeping track of this ledger, and we'll get into how they do that and those kinds of things in just a minute. But that's basically the thing. It's not like, you know, say, you know, you go buy something from Walmart right now with your Chase account, right? You got a Chase account or whatever. Chase is going to keep track of that transaction and say, oh, you spent $23 at Walmart, and so deduct $23. This is actually kept by a bunch of different people out there, guys, a bunch of different people. Number seven, it's the first possible worldwide currency. What I mean by that, it's the first possible worldwide currency, is if, let's say we're in a world where everybody uses Bitcoin, right? Everybody uses Bitcoin, understands Bitcoin. I could go to France. I could go to France on vacation, see a guy with a nice gold watch on, and say, "Hey, you know what? I want to buy that gold watch from you." And I don't even have to speak. I don't even have to say that to him. I could just point at his watch and be like, and show him on my phone 1 Bitcoin. I'll give you one, you know, 1 Bitcoin for that. And if he uses Bitcoin, he would understand the value of that and either be like, "Okay, let's do it," or no, let's not do it. Right now, if I was to go to France and try to do that same type of thing, and I held out $2,600 bills, right? Because I think Bitcoin's at around $2,600 right now. So if I hold out $2,600 bills, then that's $2,600, right? He's gonna look at me and be like, I don't know if that's that's a lot of money or a little bit of money. He could do the math on it eventually and, you know, pull out a calculator and be like, okay, so, you know, our currency's trading at this and yours is at that. Well, let me do the math on that. Okay, now we can do it. Like it's a whole different ball game if everybody's using that one currency. It's like when I went down to Mexico recently, get some dental work done. By the way, I always go to Mexico. Call me cheap or whatever. I'm not paying for damn dental insurance. I live so close to Mexico. It's ridiculous. So it's a like 6-hour ride. It's no big deal, guys. So anyways, I'm down in Mexico. And I actually just needed to get a cleaning. My wife and I got a cleaning. By the way, it was $45 total for both of us to get cleaning, which is like insane. But the lady had to like pull out a calculator because I didn't have pesos on me. I just had cash. I just had US money. So she had to pull out the calculator and do the math, and it ended up being $45. So number eight. Miners create Bitcoins by solving insanely hard mathematical functions. This is the same process that also verifies previous transactions, guys. So if you want to be a Bitcoin miner, nowadays is really hard. Like you need like ridiculously complex computers. Like you used to be able to just do it at your desk or whatever. Nowadays, a whole different ball game, because mining for Bitcoins is a really tough mathematical thing that you need computers running algorithms on, and it's really complex, and we won't even get into that side of things, guys. But basically, that's how new Bitcoins are found, from miners who solve these really hard mathematical type problems, and then a new Bitcoin is formed. And also, it's the same way the ledger is kept accurate out there, guys. Number 9, Bitcoin miners make money from doing this insanely complex work. So you say, why would anybody want to do that? Why would anybody want to solve those problems and buy all that computer equipment and stuff? Well, because they make money off that. They make a percentage, which I don't have the exact percentage, but they make Bitcoins basically off of however many Bitcoins they mine, however many ledgers they keep accurate, things like that, guys. So they do get paid for doing that. Otherwise, I'm sure no one would want to do that crap. Number 10. In the year 2140, so what are we talking here? About 123 years from now. In the year 2140, the last Bitcoin is supposed to be mined. This means there's a finite amount of Bitcoins out there, guys. There's a finite amount of Bitcoins. No different than there's a finite amount of gold in the world or something like that, right? So that's pretty interesting in itself, that Bitcoin can never be diluted. You can't just say, okay, let's go create 500 million more Bitcoins or 100 million more Bitcoins. Like you can do a currency. You know, if the US wants to say, let's create, 10 billion more dollars, they can do that. Bitcoin, you can't do that. You can't say, let's go make 10 million more Bitcoins at the, when year 2140. It just ends at that point. But it doesn't mean the currency ends. It just means, the currency might have to go up and be even more expensive at that point because there's a finite amount of them out there, guys. Number 11, last one, number 11 here. You can invest in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So some people have done this. I heard a story the other day that a kid invested like $2,000 or something in Bitcoin, or $2,700 or something. Now he's a millionaire. Like he did it I think 7 or 8 years ago when Bitcoin was kind of like brand new or whatnot. Now he's a millionaire from it. Now, still highly risky. Bitcoin cryptocurrencies are taken more and more serious, but still at this stage, it's not like it's an automatic. Like Bitcoin is absolutely the future, or cryptocurrencies are the absolute future. So just realize you could make a lot of money, but you could also lose a lot of money if things fall through or whatever, or if governments don't allow them, things like that, guys. So just understand the risk involved with it. And if you do want to invest in it, the easiest way to invest in it is really just buy a Bitcoin and hope that Bitcoin keeps going up in value versus what the dollar is and those kinds of things. And that's how a lot of investors are making money right now through these cryptocurrencies. They just buy them and then just hold them. They don't even really care to spend them or whatever. They're just buy them, hold them, and then, hopefully they go up in value, which they have, Ether, especially over the last few years, and Bitcoin, it's gone up dramatically. You used to be able to get, Bitcoins for pennies, and now it's like $2,600 a Bitcoin as of recording this video, guys. So whole different ball game there. Let me know if you guys ever want me to do a video where I go into a little more in depth on like the advantages and disadvantages of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general. If you want something like that, I could do a video like that eventually. It's kind of diving, playing the middle and saying, this is why Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies could be really good. This is why they could be bad and lose a lot of value. Like, let me know if you guys ever interested in something like that. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this today. My book is linked in that description. If you just came across this channel, you may want to subscribe. We talk personal finance on the channel. We talk entrepreneurship. I'm an actual business owner. I give away so many business tips. We talk stock market investing more than anything. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a great day.